Welcome to a brand new episode of 876-411, back after a little hiatus. I'm Mark Brown, your host, and today we're looking back at the life and career of legendary reggae star John Holt, who tragically passed away last weekend after a long battle with colon cancer. And we're also going to be talking about Cecile's brand new album, Still Running. She gave an exclusive interview to 876-411 about this project. So glad for that. Much love to her for that. So we'll be talking a little bit about what she said about the album and also my own review of the album. Give it a listen and everything. So I'm gonna give my thoughts on that. But first off, I have to start with the sad news that rocked the reggae world, that rocked the whole of Jamaica and a lot of the world really on Sunday when it was announced that John Holt, the legendary singer who had started with the Paragons back in the 60s and then embarked on a successful solo career in the 70s, early 70s, had passed away in a hospital in London. Now, for those of you that don't know the backstory of this, Holt had been in England for 2 months, about 2 months, after he had performed at a concert, at a One Love concert, I believe it was, in England, and he collapsed on stage. Now, before that, he had done a surgery and operation after he felt some stomach pain, according to one of his personal assistants. He had suffered some stomach pains and had to be taken to the hospital, and it was believed to be a colon issue. And he had an operation early in the summer, so he took care of that, rested for a little bit, but then went right back on the road, did some shows, and then did that show in England in mid-August when he collapsed on stage. Had to be taken to the hospital there and do another operation. And ever since he had been resting, recovering, just trying to get back healthy and get back on his feet. No, there have been so many rumors about his health. Even in September, there was a widespread report that he had died, and he and some of his management team had to thoroughly dispel those rumors that he was dead, that he was recovering well, and even up to the week when he died, he was said to have been recovering well and feeling better, but that it took a turn for the worse last weekend, and then his ultimate demise. So he passed away at age. There's question about his age. Most news outlets say he was 69. Others say he was 67. It's a bit of confusion there. There was also talk about how many kids he had. Like a lot of people say that 23 kids, although some dispute that number. Some close to dispute that number, saying they only knew of a certain amount. But at the end of the day, that is irrelevant to the thing. What's relevant to the thing is that, of course, his children and his wife, he was survived by his wife Merle and all those children, and they're missing their father. And what a great singer he was. He was absolutely one of the best. To me, definite top 10. If I was to put a list of the top 10 pure reggae singers of all time, I have to put Holt in that top 10. For those who know me well, I am a huge fan of reggae music, but also throwback reggae music, foundation reggae music. And definitely when you talk about foundation, you have to talk about John Holt because, as I said to open this up, he sang as a member of the Paragons, to the likes of Bob Andy and those guys in the 60s. And they had some success together, Alibaba, they had that song. And of course, The Tide is High, which was later covered by the band Blondie, who went to the top of the US and UK charts with that cover of the song, which made it even more popular, right? And then Atomic Kitten also did a song and a cover of it and covered on top of the chart. Cardinal Official, of course, Jamaican born Canadian rap star, he also did a cover version of it, a remix of it. So definitely that song was what helped Holt to prominence in a sense, because from everybody I cover it, he was the one who penned that song. That really gave him the ratings on an international level, and that kind of allowed him to pursue a solo career. And from there, his solo career totally took off. I mean, Stick By Me, #1 song in Jamaica back in 1972. That was the big solo break for him. He also did songs like Fancy Makeup, which is a personal favorite of mine. You had um, Police in Helicopter, which is one of the baddest songs ever about marijuana. He did the song at the time to kind of, chastise, the law enforcement officials and the government for the way they're hunting down people who plant the herb, people who, speak positive about the herb, the criticism, because, marijuana has always been a topic of discussion in Jamaica, and especially those who plant it and make a living from it, and that was so his way of saying, yo, stop harass the ganja farmer, they much I make a living too, like everybody else. You understand what I say? So that is definitely one of the true classics of his. There were so many great, singles that he did. Of course, If I Were a Carpenter, arguably his baddest tune ever. That song was fantastically done, great concept. And that album of his, that full cover album, Thousand Volts of Holt, back in '73, I believe it was. That album is what regarded as one of the best reggae albums of all time because he managed to so eloquently cover so many artist songs and make them his own. You understand? Put him like a reggae and him like a ska influence on those songs. He covered Diana Ross, he covered Billy Joel. He had a song that went to the UK top 10. He really knew how to take other people's songs. Because remember, back in those days, all the reggae artists and the cover artists from the UK, from the US, from all over the world. People were covering that. That was a way of kind of, bringing reggae to the mainstream. Because by itself, it was still, getting ratings, Marley coming up and all these young singers, young Dennis Brown, Holt, and all these guys. But remember, a lot of them covered songs in order to kind of get that mainstream attention, not just in Jamaica, but all over the world. And Holt was probably the best cover singer of them all. I mean, he really knew how to tell a story with the song, add the little reggae influence to it, and people were drawn in. People actually liked hearing these songs. So he did a slew of covers, and that album in particular stands out as maybe his best line of work. You know what I mean? And what I like with Holt is that, as I said, he's a great storyteller. He has that vocal range, and he knows how to sing any type of song and tell the story behind it, but push the theme behind it and make it believable. He sang his share of ballads. He sang his share of like empowerment songs. As I said before, I'm singing out against the government. Although politically charged songs weren't really what he focused on, he did his share and he made it, made it speak out where people are saying, yo, say my reading my thought, so he really was able to diversify himself and make himself as well lauded as he was in the music industry. And for that, we have to pay a tribute to him. He was also a great on-stage performer from all that I have seen of him. He was really good with that, really poised with that. He got more and more into the Rastafari thing because initially you never have the bag of locks and them thing there. But from when he sang Police in Helicopter and, in the 80s and so forth, he kind of dedicated himself more to the Rastafari culture. And from there, you see the locks, see everything. But he was a great performer, very, very singer. He was honored in 2004 for his work to the music industry. And he really, really was a class act every step of the way. He was a very private person. A lot of us didn't know about the colon issues, colon cancer that he reportedly had because he was very private. He didn't want his business out there. He was the quintessential, star that didn't really want to live like a star. That kind of guy who just wanted to get away from it all and do his own thing. And that's what made him so, special, one of a kind. So we definitely pay a tribute to John Holt for the work that he has done for reggae music, and he was a great influence, I'm sure, to a lot of the younger artists out there. So definitely we give thanks to him, rest in peace to it, and condolences to his family at this time. So certainly great work that he did, and continue to play his songs every time I get. You know what I mean? Up Park Camp, that was another tune I was trying to remember. Very good tune as well. Big up yourself, John Holt. Rest in peace. Yes. So, this week as well, we also got a chance to talk to the prominent dancehall diva slash sing J, Cecile, who was talking to us about her new album, Still Running, which is her first album in 3 years since Jamaicanization back in 2011. And this album, I got to listen to it, and to be honest, I was really impressed with it. It's basically like her way of saying that she still have what it takes to make it big in the music industry. Of course, she's been around since the early 2000s when she did do changes, and she came out with the her share of tunes for kind of test it, push the envelope a little bit, like give it to me, or do it to me, I should say, and a couple others. And she wasn't afraid to push boundaries back in early 2000s when she first come out. Like she was daring. She had her sexuality which she put out there. But also she was a very good singer. I mean, I'm Waiting, and songs like those were fantastic songs. You know what I mean? So she's definitely one of the more all-rounded dancehall divas of the last decade. And this album, she basically said that she wanted to be more of Cecile, the recording artist, than Cecile, just another artist on a rhythm, because that's what Jamaican is known for. Those were her words. And she's trying to branch herself out there to the international market. That's something she's always done. Jamaicanization, a little bit more of that, but was more catered to Jamaican sound. This one is a lot more international. You know what I mean? She went through a different bag of genres for this one. She got dancehall and reggae, of course, but she got pop. She put a little bit of soca in, or soca sounding kind of music in there. Touch a little R&B, touch of acoustic music. She did a lot of things with this album. She has a couple songs on there. Kiss You Up with Flo Rida, the rap star. And she also has another song, but that song in particular, I thought her chemistry with Flo Rida was good. It's very much patented to the club, and it shows her sexuality again. Like, it's like, that kind of attracted us to her when we first heard her. So you have that song. You also have Contagious with Richie Loop, which I alluded to was soca. It kind of sounds like soca. Sounds like somewhere you could have played a Juve and Bacchanal and them song there. It's very much catered, very much fast paced, up tempo. You also have It with Patex. That one is also very, sexually suggestive in a way, but classy. That's the one thing I always rate about her. She don't have to go raunchy and over the top like some dancehall divas would do to get your attention. Like she had and she know it and she sing it, but she sing it in a really respectful way and thing. She know she know to push the buttons, but she also know where the line cross, isn't it? So you have songs like those. You have Turn It Up, which is the first single off the album, which is very much part oriented, very much caters to all different walks of life. Anybody can go in the club and hear it and not feel like they're out of place when they dance to it and listen it. You understand? So we definitely think that she diversify herself and she make herself more worldly with this album. Have different types of fans looking at it and saying, "Oh, this is really good." She can sing any genre and actually sound really good at it. You know what I mean? So Cecile definitely did great work on this album. I felt I really enjoyed it. It's not one of those things where where she abandoned her dancehall roots or reggae roots and decide to go, because people, anytime an artist decide to, go more of a different sound, not dancehall and not reggae, they always get bashed for it. Sean Paul, I can't tell you how much time Sean Paul get bashed for it. I've bashed him for it at times. But at the same time, as long as them don't fully abandon them roots, and there's a song on that album, by the way, called Kingston's Step You Need to Free. It's a really, really good. It's my favorite one on the album, personally, because it combines ska, little bit of that electric sound, and reggae. It's a good, like a old school meets new school kind of vibe. And I really like that song, and I really like the concept behind it. To me, it's a wonderfully put together track. So the album overall very good. She's still running the music scene, pun intended, and I think that it's one of the better albums I've seen from a Jamaican artist this year. Hers, Popcorns was good as well. So definitely really good piece of work, and we hope that she also said to us that she definitely doesn't want it to be another one of those run-of-the-mill albums that's out there for 3 or 4 months and then people forget about it for the rest of their lives. No, she wants it to. She wants it to be music that lasts. She wants it to be music that people will embrace. That's why she never really got a particular sound on it. She wanted to try her hand at all different things while keeping what we knew her for in the song then. You understand? So that's what made this album, I think, come together nicely. So really wish to see the best with that. The album came out a couple of weeks ago. It's now on iTunes. If you want to download it, buy the album and support Jamaican music. So Cecile, great work. And we give thanks that you took the opportunity to talk to us about this project. You can actually see the feature right now on the 876-411 website, 876-411.com. All right, all the couple little tidbits also to pass along. Anita Antoinette, the Jamaican born singer who's based in Boston, who is on The Voice. She is now heading to the knockout round, which starts next week. So check that out. She is going to be vying for a spot to go on the live shows. So hope that she makes it there and that she continues to, build momentum. She gets encouragement from Tessanti, follow her on Twitter and give her sort of healings and Henry. So, an encouragement. So we hope that she continues to build her momentum and that she moves on to those shows. And who knows what the level of support will be for her. We hope that Jamaicans all around will show her support and root her on and maybe become the second ever winner of The Voice. So definitely that. Also, ZJ Wawa, of course, the Zip FM disc jock, he has pled guilty to a count of telemarketing fraud in his US scamming case. So basically, that was to help other charges get dropped. He still is facing charges of wire mail fraud and a couple other charges relating to the scamming case. So his trial begins February of next year, and of course, if he's convicted of any of those counts, maximum of 30 years in prison, and that is definitely not a good look. That would pretty much end his career right there, and it's a shame. You just hope that he would say not get caught up in them something here, but let's see how the case transpires before we say anything really. So let's see how that goes and go on from there. So his trial in a few months. Let's see how it goes. And big up the Reggae girls. Unfortunately, they did not make it to the next stage of qualifying for next year's Women's World Cup here in Canada. They played 3 games in the CONCACAF Women's Championships. That is the qualifying tournament for the World Cup. They had to make it to the semifinals to at least guarantee themselves a playoff against Ecuador, which would have decided who would be the final team to go to the World Cup. There's 4 spots to go along with Canada's spot as host from CONCACAF. So they played Martinique 1-6-0, lost a tough one 2-1 to Costa Rica, who themselves have qualified for the tournament. And then had that big game against Mexico, took the lead. Donaki Henry had a goal, and then after that, they kind of played cautious, and Mexico dominated from there on in and won the game 3-1. So unfortunately, they won't be going they won't clinch a maiden World Cup berth. But they really gave a good effort. I mean, a lot was put into this team. Sedella Marley threw her weight between this team. She says she'll be staying with the project going forward as long as the JFF changes their mind towards women's football. Frankly, the JFF needs to change its mindset on football in general. Because you see what the men's team are doing right now? 113th in the world, people. 113. That kind of sound like our exchange rate right now. We need to get that going. You understand me? So, the women's team, that training camps and everything, they look like they're getting there a little bit, but they still definitely have more work to do if they're going to be able to beat the bigger sides. But the direction of this team right now to me is much better than the men's team. The men's team is just going down the tubes. They need some serious transformation. What they do well in the European Cup, but they really need some transformation. So big up the Reggae girls still. They put out a good effort, and we hope that they build the program and can take it one step forward for preparations for the next World Cup, which will either be in France, South Korea, or South Africa. And that is it. Thank you for watching another episode of 76411. If you have any thoughts on any of the topics, tribute to John Holt, Cecile's album, any of the topics that we've discussed today, just, comment on the YouTube page. Jody Brown, that's the name of the YouTube page. Comment on the page. Also comment on our Facebook page, 876411. And of course, visit the website. You can watch this episode if you missed it live on the website and give us your feedback. And yeah, so we'll see you next time. Peace out.